Chance Harrison with another drumming hot topic, or rant if you want to call it that. You can. I was talking with one of my drumming friends, Fred Fisher, recently, and we had talked about the fact that people who post anything from drum covers to beats to grooves to uh, anything. It doesn't matter if they're famous drummers or not. There's always people that attack them on everything you can imagine. And it can be about, well, it could be about anything. It could be about the sound of the drums, the setup, the stickings, all that kind of stuff. That's not how they use, that's not the sticking they used or whatever. So my big thing is this. For people who grew up in the video age, I didn't. Are videos out there now and very accessible to look instead of listen? Of course they are. Does that help mainstream a lot of the learning process for drummers that are trying to learn things? Yes. Are you learning from a cover or are you learning from the actual artist? And then you go back and you listen to, let's take John Bonham, for instance. Growing up, I played on a couple bands that played Zeppelin covers. I listened to them, played what I thought I could play at the time. I wasn't John Bonham. I just played what I thought would work. And that's what mattered. And like the John Bonham triplets. He starts it with this hand. Well, who would have known? We didn't see that. When I first heard 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, I fell in love with that beat. I thought it was cool. And it was not just your typical straight ahead beat. It had a cadence feel to it and stuff like that. Did I know he was doing the hi-hat with his foot? No. So when I first tried to copy that beat, I tried to copy what I heard. I didn't hear that sometimes a note was on the foot versus the hand. Okay? Sometimes with the drummers of Steely Dan, if we hear an opening, we know they did it, but we don't always hear or see the stickings to do that. So we just copped a feel, a groove and a feel. And that's what mattered, because I'd never been fired from a gig because somebody said that's not the way they do it or that's not the sticking they used. Okay. Recently, Greg Bissonette, I saw him doing a thing, and he was playing the Groove to Rosanna, and I saw people thrashing it, saying that's not how it's done. I'm like, he's played with Toto. They flew him in to cover. He learned it. You know what? I'm sure they didn't stop the gig and say, that's not how Jeff played it. I'm sure they said that feels incredible, and they played because it felt good. That's what matters. If you line up 100 drummers and have them all play the Groove to Rosanna, they're not all going to sound the same, and they're not going to sound exactly like Jeff. But I guarantee you, out of that 100, there's going to be at least 50% or more that have an excellent feel, and people would play that song and not even look back and wonder if it was exactly how Jeff played it. Okay? And the other thing is, for instance, Jeff demonstrated on a video how he did it. He played it for like four bars or so. Here's what I did. And everybody said, that's how it's done. If you listen to the actual recording, you can hear times where he has a bass drum that's not there and times where it is. There's times where there's ghost notes that aren't there every single time. If you want to get technical about it, but nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to stop you and say, you left that ghost note out. If it feels good, that's what matters. So my thing, when people attack something, as long as it feels good, that's what the other musicians care about. If you don't like the sound of somebody's snare, fine, right? It doesn't matter. If they like it, that's what matters, okay? And if they get around other musicians and they say, that snare, can you tune that up a little bit? I can't hear it as well. Then you work with each other and you do what you need to do. So my rant or whatever is, if you grew up in the video age, you learn music by listening and watching. If you grew up before that, you learn to listen and fine-tune your ears. I think people hear with their eyes a lot more now and not so much with their ears. And they don't catch a lot of the subtleties, but they sure do catch a sticking, which who would have known? Who would have known that somebody did singles instead of a paradiddle? Who would have known without seeing it? As long as you play it and it feels good, that's what matters. It's all about listening, making a good groove, and making other people want to play with you. Rant over.